Had a fascinating career, from his disparaging remarks against Rocky Marciano to running over tops of cars to go after Trevor Berbick. But he's been there for years, and he's back once again for perhaps the final time. Look at that, 20 successful defenses. And here he is, the former heavyweight champion of the world, entering the ring, Larry Holmes. Saw a peek of Joe Frazier in the ring as well. Record of 53-3 with 37 knockouts. The 3 losses, 2 to Michael Spinks and 1 to Mike Tyson. We thought the Tyson 4th round knockout ended his career. Not so. Big question tonight will be, Joe, Larry Holmes certainly knows what to do, has it in his head, but can the body do what the mind wants it to do?
Well, I've never really, I mean, he seems so confident that he almost has you believing that he can do it. And he's certainly in great shape. He's got Don Turner there in the corner with him. I just got to feel that Larry Holmes is not going to try to kid anybody. He got himself in a good shape and is going to try to put on a wonderful performance tonight.
And here comes the undefeated Ray Mercer. 18-0, 13 knockouts. We saw his demolition of Tommy Morrison, but remember, Mercer took a lot of shots in the first 3 rounds from Morrison. Referee Tony Perez a bit slow in stopping that bout in the 5th round. Tail of the tape, Joe, is really one of the more fascinating ones in the annals of TVKO. Holmes, 12 years older. His weight about 20 pounds more than when he fought in his prime. But Ray Mercer here, the heaviest he's ever fought at 28 3/4. And Larry Holmes with that 5-inch reach advantage to land that, what he keeps calling that hammer, that jab.
You gentlemen were given your instructions at the weigh-in. I want you to obey my commands at all times. I want you to respect the bell, and I want you to protect yourself at all times. Now touch him up. Let's rock and roll. Let's go.
Larry Holmes kept talking about traps that he will set for Mercer. Joe, what do you think he'll try to do?
Well, he already told me what he wanted to do. He said, when you see me back into a corner and dip to my right side, put my left arm out, I'm going to hit him with an uppercut and knock him out.
All right. This is the ring where we saw George Foreman acquit himself well against... Mercer said it will not go 12. Few people doubt it. He is a 4-1 favorite, Ray Mercer is. Holmes uses the so-called hammer for the first time. Mercer's defense is there, and Larry with the right hand.
That right hand came off nice and quick off that jab, and that's what he's got to continue to do once he sets Mercer up with that jab.
Here's Holmes with the right hook as well. There's a strong right hook from Holmes.
And as you can be expected, Mercer just came right back. And rabbit punching Holmes behind the head, and Steve Smoger should warn him for it.
And Holmes sticks his glove in Mercer's face. This has become a grudge match. You noted earlier, before it began, when Holmes walked over and stalked toward Mercer and...
Well, Mercer landing a nice right hand to the rib cage there of Holmes, and of course Holmes answers back with his own right hand to the ribs.
Mercer just nodding. It's turned nasty and entertaining. Strong right to the body from Holmes. It was a right hook that caught Mercer's attention at the 1-minute mark, and Holmes staggers backwards. And here comes Mercer after Larry Holmes.
It looked like Mercer hurt him with a jab and really wobbled Larry Holmes.
And still a full 45 seconds remaining in the first round. There's Holmes with that uppercut from the corner position. Mercer with a look at the stain on his face.
Holmes already puffing a little bit, but he's throwing a lot of hard punches and a lot of wrestling going on in there.
Mercer goes, yeah, as he heads back to the corner.
Now here's Mercer. He steps in, boom, right on the side of the chin, and that hurt him.
Absolutely.
Larry Holmes is dazed right there. But a good stiff jab can act just like a straight right hand if you get hit properly with it and it sneaks up on you like that one did. Right on the side of the chin. It almost knocked his mouthpiece out. But there goes Mercer, noted for his wild attacks there. If you stayed a little bit calmer and take your attack to the body there, he might have scored a few more punches.
Starting the second round. Mercer continues to be the one moving forward. Holmes connected with one strong right hook in that first. Aside from that, right hand followed by the elbow from Mercer.
Well, both of these got to be discouraging for Holmes. So I think that's the position that Holmes is leaning down to his right and coming back to that uppercut. Of course, that one landed, but not on the chin. Put that right hand underneath the heart of Larry Holmes, and a good counter right hand by Holmes right there.
Holmes is the one who landed in that sequence.
Let's see, Mercer takes himself very well.
Holmes is the one who landed the left to the body. A good right hand from Larry Holmes. Catches a jab moving out of there. Another right from Holmes. And Holmes again with a left is able to land some strong punches in the early rounds.
But look at Mercer just, I mean, it almost looks like he's just walking through the stuff, comes right back.
And that's a tremendous combination for a heavyweight. Final 20 seconds of the second round.
This is what Holmes was talking about right in there when he puts that arm up, leans to his right, say he wants him.
Yeah, he said, come on, come on.
And he's nailing Mercer with right hands and uppercuts.
And Mercer just stands in there and takes them.
Mercer talking and says, come on.
Yeah, he's talking to him.
It's exactly what he did to Tommy Morrison when he got hit with the best shots in that fight.
Holmes lands some more as the round comes to a close.
Larry Holmes obliged.
That was a good round. Smart. Half steps. Every time he throw a jab, you count him, you tie him up. You walk him like we talked about this morning. There you go.
All right, let's go back to early in the round here. Holmes misses that right hand, but look, he loops a couple over and one under. Ties up Mercer a little bit. All right, let's take a look at the end of the round. Now, that was the beginning, like I said. And here's the end of the round where Holmes really lands the majority of the punches. Look, 1-2, he missed with that. Landed that one high off the temple of Mercer. Got through the gloves there. Those punches with the weight of Larry Holmes and the accuracy of his punching, they hurt even when they're deflected.
Holmes with the punches and the connections in round two. Of course, the question you're asking yourself is, can Holmes keep this up for 12 rounds as we start the third?
Well, that question would be answered for Ray Mercer. If Ray Mercer was going to the body a little bit more, you'd probably say, well, if he keeps getting hit like this, he won't be able to go 12, but he's not getting hit to the body.
Holmes said he'd put his hands down like this, and he did for several seconds. Mercer said, I hope he does. Well, he did it. Now Holmes lands another jab. Holmes with his hands down.
He was leaning back like we saw James Toney and Mike McCallum doing all night, waiting for someone to throw their right hand so you can come back with your own.
Mercer sticking his hand up with the left and trying to punch low with the right.
Well, here we go again. Holmes in that corner where he says he wants to be. Because he feels he can knock out Ray Mercer in this corner. But right now, Mercer is getting a little bit of the better of it. Holmes is tying him up well, though.
Holmes uppercut.
See, he's expending.
Come on.
That's right. And Mercer's expending a lot of energy missing those punches.
Larry content to have his back to the corner.
Holmes is really nullifying most of those right hands, with the exception of those two little ones. And look at Holmes. He's really feeling his oats tonight.
And Larry Holmes coming on strong in the third. Mercer continues to stand there and take it as Holmes works the body now.
Well, we know Mercer can take it,
now the reverse.
and take over. The referee is just sitting back, kind of watching this and enjoying it himself, because these two are doing all the work right now.
And they're certainly putting on a show inside of a minute to go in the third round. Mercer, the big swing and miss, and he laughs about it. Holmes lands the body and then the right cross.
Now Larry Holmes looking out at some adoring fans here, yelling to him ringside, and he looks over to him and then lands a few more punches.
Measures in with the left hand. This is real schoolboy stuff. And Holmes with a combination. Mercer lands the right. Mercer the left to the body. And a right hand from Mercer.
Holmes getting away from mostly all of that.
He's holding on the ropes with the right hand, and Steve Smoger's letting him do it. Maybe Larry just rests up against that ring post throughout the round, and he heads back to his corner.
Well, you know, to tell you the truth, they're both having a great time in there.
Well, for what it's worth, I scored it the same as you through the first three. Larry Holmes there, the 87% connect percentage in the third round.
Less punches thrown, but a lot more connected.
Correct.
And Larry certainly looks worn out at the end of the round when he heads back to his corner. Larry's still sitting while Ray is stalking his corner.
That's right. You do all that work for 3 minutes. That's why you take advantage of that 1 minute rest, get it all back together, and go back to work. And here he goes.
Larry probably... Well, they say, what does the state of boxing come to when the people like George Foreman and Larry Holmes are the big draws? But you can see what it's come to. It's come to entertainment. And that's
in there. Larry Holmes is 42 years old. He may have lost some of his speed, but I'll tell you what, he hasn't lost any of the experience, and he's a smart fighter, and he's still effective, even at 42.
Here the leather of he thought he connected a good one, and Larry didn't feel it. Ooh, left hand from Mercer. Tries to come out of there, and Mercer holds on. Let him go, Ray.
Holmes really doing a good job, though. Well, I'll tell you, Mercer is one mean son of a gun.
Taking a warning from Steve Smoger. He would not let go.
Mauling you and leaning on you and pushing you, and it's an effective strategy for him.
Uppercut from Mercer.
Two good right hands from Mercer. But see, the thing is that Holmes has slowed down a little bit in this round. He's not quite as active as he was. A fighter gets in such great condition, he depends on a second wind coming. And
good right hand.
It was a great right hand, and that may come in the next round or two.
And Mercer again just waves it off. That was a tremendous right hand from Larry Holmes. Holmes looking to set that trap for the uppercut.
Yeah, it looked like he should have pulled the trigger there, but didn't. For some reason held back. I don't know if he's a little fatigued right now, but so that was a good opportunity for him to throw it.
Now a third of the distance has been completed. 4 rounds done.
Don't let him rest. You letting him rest too much. Now, come on, let's get this man out of here.
All right. All right. Just a party, huh? Yeah. Hey, you bully you bully me.
It's a party.
Told you they were having fun. Look at this. That's interesting. 100 punches landed out of 140. 71%. That's probably one of the highest connect percentages I've seen. He's capable of disposing almost anybody at any given time, Mercer. And when he does hurt you, he's explosive and accurate with his punches.
And he said, unlike, I wouldn't even do it to Holmes, who was one of my idols. And you saw that that's what Mercer did to Tommy Morrison. 14 straight punches. And this is his familiar position over here in this corner on top of us. Now Holmes holding him off with
good left hook by Ray Mercer in there. But Holmes seems to be in such good shape this fight. He's taking a lot of his punishment.
Good right to the body, and then the uppercut from Mercer. And there's the right uppercut from Holmes, but not a lot on it. Good right hand, and then the left from Holmes. And there's the jab.
Oh, my.
And Holmes doing the dance.
He's got to have a lot of confidence in himself and in his conditioning right now to be able to clown around.
Mercer with the glancing right hook. Mercer breathing a bit heavily now as well. Holmes goes to the body.
And that's one of the reasons why you get a hit there. That really takes a lot of air out of you.
Inside.
This corner, we're chastising about waiting so much, and he is waiting a lot, and that's due to Holmes is on the inside. He's got Mercer off guard right now.
Some good movement and agilities. You saw him slip the punches there.
With his right hand and jab with his left, because you get extra leverage there, and that's illegal.
Holmes giving his breathing hard. And the crowd now cheering Holmes's combinations. A remarkable performance thus far through 5 rounds from 42-year-old Larry Holmes.
Yep. Really, some brilliant, wonderful action here. I mean, between 2 big heavyweights, one of them being 42 years old and really looking like a top-rated fighter right now. Here we go. Here's one of Holmes's punches. Laying back in the corner, right hand, left hook. And of course, Mercer looks and says, all right, now let's try that again. Really, a lot of Holmes's punches aren't really stunning or staggering Mercer, but they're definitely piling up, and that effect can cause you a lot of problems later on in the fight. And Larry Holmes is as relaxed as you can get.
Holmes uses every second on the stool. Mercer up earlier. 6th round.
Connect percentage.
And Larry is answering Mercer's supporters. Mercer supporters are yelling out, do this, and Holmes is yelling back, oh, that's what you want? Unlike Foreman, Holmes taking a fight like this much earlier in the comeback, and now he's taking some punches from Mercer. Holmes says he will retire by the end of this year, one way or another, by the time he's 43 years old in November.
Well, if Mercer keeps landing punches like he just did, it might be a little bit sooner. And the advice from ringside really paid off because he threw the right hand left hook, and it landed.
Holmes is talking to our camera. He says, I'm not Tommy Morrison. He's carrying on his own commentary. We should stop talking, Joe.
Well,
Mercer waving back.
We should have mic'd Holmes tonight.
Talking to Holmes when they were close in the clinch a moment ago. So we're near the 1-minute mark in the 6th round. Right hand from Holmes. Another combination. Mercer just takes it.
Behind those shots he's throwing too, which has got to take a lot of steam out of him. But look, here again, he rolls with those 2 right hands and comes back with his own uppercut. Do you think if we told Larry to get back in the corner over here, he'd hear us, Len, and oblige us?
Probably would. He'd probably speak into the microphone over here.
There it is again, that 1-2 left hook. I mean, that's the most basic of combinations in boxing, but it's really working against Ray Mercer.
Broke Francisco Damiani's nose. I mean, Mercer's been through wars and has taken everything.
Fought with a broken jaw against Bert Cooper and prevailed in the end. But look at Holmes really just beautifully pick off these punches, throw his hands up, stifle the punch, and come back with some short little body shots against Mercer.
The fight is halfway through.
Here we go on a little replay here, and the action in the corner, and that's been round in and round out.
And now the crowd on its feet as we start the 7th round, and the question will be, once again, can Holmes do it for 12 rounds? He's done it for 6. Now the right hand, then the uppercut from Holmes. And Holmes with his familiar position.
Well, I mean, Steve Smoger should have seen that. Ray Mercer just threw a blatant elbow right to the side of the face of Larry Holmes, but of course, he was on the opposite
from
side.
Holmes. And Mercer with the left hook of his own. That was just a corner dance right now. With a minute gone in the 7th, finally Steve Smoger separates them.
Mercer's starting to chop away here with little short punches. He's landing a few of them.
The uppercut from Holmes again.
Right. And that's got Mercer's mouth bleeding pretty good right now.
And the crowd chanting Larry. It started out as a pure Mercer crowd, and Holmes has won them over here in the 7th.
He's really knocking the tar out of Ray Mercer is what he's doing with that right hand. And he's really got to do something to turn this fight around. Got hit with a great right hand there.
Oh, Mercer with the left hand. Mercer, strong combination.
But I'll tell you, Larry Holmes took a right hand and 2 left hooks and came back with his own right hand, which shows you what great shape he's in. He took those were square on the chin.
thought with the type of opponent that Holmes had that it was a joke, his comeback. Well, hasn't been thus far through nearly 7 rounds complete. He's looked good. Another right hook, and Mercer puts his hands down.
Well, what does that tell you? That's got to tell you that he's buzzed right now from that right hand.
The moment Larry Holmes is winning this fight.
Like I said, these type of punches, this is the 7th round. I mean, these are going to start catching up to Mercer if they haven't already.
And somewhere right now, George Foreman is watching and smiling.
Yes, and maybe even be thinking of having a fight against Larry Holmes.
The crowd roars after the 7th round, and Mercer slow back to his corner.
Well, they came in booing Larry Holmes, and now they're cheering him.
Again, Mercer up early. Holmes continues to sit. You saw his connect percentage. Threw fewer punches, but landed a much higher percentage number. And here we go with round number 8. Holmes goes back to the hammer, the jab, and another one. Mercer's mouth opening a little bit more.
Even though he's behind in this fight, tells you that at any given moment, this guy could turn the fight around just with one good barrage of punches. And this is what Holmes hopes to not let him do by using all of his smarts and not getting hit with that shot that starts it off. Good jab from Holmes, and Mercer came back with 2 great body shots and a left hook to the head.
Yes, he did.
To get his head up, and of course wins you a little bit, and that's a ploy that Muhammad Ali used for so many years so successfully.
Holmes still has dance in his legs. Moving okay here in the 8th, midway through now. Mercer continues to stalk him as he has throughout the bout.
You got to wonder if Larry Holmes right now is wishing this was on
12 as a WBO championship fight, but then the WBO withdrew, saying they wanted Mercer to fight Michael Moore. But it stayed at 12 rounds to fight.
And of course, Michael Moore sitting 3 rows back, keeping his eye on this.
Good left hand from Mercer.
It was a great left hand from Mercer. It wobbled Holmes for a minute, but he's good and warmed up. He took it and he's moving away, trying to collect his senses.
From Mercer. That left hook was tremendous. Holmes just moving his arms around slowly, just pulling out all the stops. Caught a right hand from Mercer. Not one of Holmes' stronger rounds.
No, and you got to give that one to Mercer. Larry looks a little bit more vulnerable from the outside than he really does on the inside. Landed a good right hand at the end.
After the bell, Holmes landing the right, and that does it for 8 rounds.
Got the left hand working. You hear what I say? You got the left hand.
All right, let's look back at that left hook. Boom. See, Holmes leaned in with the jab and got caught pulling out here. Let's see it again. He steps in. Bingo. Has that right hand down, and it did catch him clean. Look, he does a little stutter step there. His legs were a little unsteady, but he composed himself and got back together. Straight right hand from Mercer. Of course, it landed, but Holmes kind of rolled with that one. It didn't have as much effect as I think that left hook did, though. But to answer
1 year ago, Francesco Damiani had Mercer behind, and Damiani was ahead, and Mercer, with a left uppercut, broke Damiani's nose, and that was it.
That's right.
That was the 9th round a year ago. And this is the 9th round of this fight, and Holmes starts with a right.
This is a distance fight. But I certainly didn't think right. Got to really be on your toes and all your concentration on your opponent, especially a dangerous one like Ray Mercer coming at you.
Now he's talking to one another again, yeah. Right to the body from Mercer. Round. Holmes just with the right hand on the ropes, just enjoying the corner, taking some shots from Mercer here.
He took that right hand to the body, right uppercut, but came back with his own right there. And that's what he needs to do. He's got to keep that jab working, even if he's backing up.
Good right hand from Larry Holmes, one of his best.
Beautiful. beautiful right hand set up by that double jab, and he's got Ray Mercer thinking right now and a little hurt.
And Holmes starting to come forward for the first time. Now he backs off.
Well, what happened was he over...
Mercer lunging in that.
Well, this looks like Ray Mercer's going to need another miracle knockout after being behind on points if he's going to win this fight.
Holmes gets the jab in there, and the crowd starts up with Larry once again, and Holmes looks fresh again. Couple more jabs from the ex-champion.
Well, Larry Holmes, after taking a breather in that last round, certainly came on, landed some beautiful straight jabs and some great right hands, and won that round.
And Holmes is 3/4 of the way home.
This crowd is just starting to realize that right now that Larry Holmes may win this fight. Was he a 4-1 underdog going into this fight, Lynn? 4-1.
I think Larry's experience is teaching him a lesson tonight.
Here we go, back to that right hand, set up by that beautiful double jab. Thank you, Jackie. And, of course, backed off Ray Mercer and stunned him for a second. Here it goes again, over a shot, boom. Boy, if that was a little bit lower on the tip of the chin instead of on that cheek, that could have done a little bit more damage.
Jackie, and I also think of your fighter, James Toney, in Davenport, Iowa, against Michael Nunn, the 11th round.
That's right.
All right, here we go with the 10th.
Through 71% of his punches landing compared to 44 for Mercer.
Look at Holmes dancing, Joe. This is just tremendous.
Really, this is an amazing stat. He's really out-punched, out-boxed, and out-slicked Ray Mercer tonight.
Mercer at the point where he has to go for a knockout.
He's got 6 minutes left to really just take this round and the next round, and he'll pull off another shocking upset in the world of boxing, which nobody, I doubt, thought he could do.
Mercer has him against the ropes again.
Good at tying you up, putting the arm out there just to deflect the punch enough just to keep the steam off of it.
Doing the Holmes wiggle tonight. Mercer tries to work the body.
Looks like Mercer wants to throw that hook, and that's what he was setting up to do.
Got the right hand in there.
Right at the very last punch, but Holmes really nullified those two hooks he threw.
Holmes clearing his nose there momentarily.
That'll make any fighter back off. Here, if they want to win the round. Right now, Holmes has landed a few more punches, but somebody's really got to take control. It's 6 minutes left in this fight, 2 rounds left, or actually 4 minutes left in this fight, and I think it's crucial to both these guys to win these rounds. Good right hand.
And another right hand from Holmes. Joe, we still have 2 full rounds after this 40 seconds.
The point is, these rounds, these late rounds are crucial to both these guys. Right hand that Holmes landed, that was the best punch of the round. See, he's blocking and deflecting a lot of those punches.
Not landing Mercer's punches. The left hook did land for Mercer.
That's right.
As a full 10 rounds have elapsed.
Now they've got 2 rounds left.
And Mercer goes all right as he heads back to the corner. Maybe he thinks he won that round.
You can do it, baby. You're the greatest of all time.
Why?
Well, here we go. Holmes, 70% of his punches landed. And that really is a basis for him winning most of this fight by virtue of him landing that amount of punches.
You walked him good this time.
New Jersey.
Well, let me ask you, would they get caught up perhaps in a sentimental choice in Larry Holmes, the judges?
Well, I hope they wouldn't. I hope they'd go just on the basis of his performance tonight, which has been excellent. If anybody's going to get the sentimentality, it'll probably be Ray Mercer. He's a hometown kid here.
Holmes gaining the respect for the older generation, much as George Foreman did right in this arena back in April.
By Larry Holmes, then he would be safe to just box and really pile up some points and stay out of harm's way these next 2 rounds, because I think he's got a pretty comfortable lead right now.
I just find it amazing how all of us scoffed when George Foreman came back and when Larry Holmes started to come back, and everyone laughed. And then there are no laughs now.
That's That's right. Well, and it goes to, I mean, these fighters with this type of experience, and Holmes is an exceptional talent.
If he has enough for that one punch that he's looking for at this point.
Well, he's shaking, and Mercer's shaking his head no, but Holmes is landing the better punches right now, and he's scoring the points.
And no usually means yes in boxing, as you know. Inside of a minute to go in the 11th round. These punches are missing for Mercer, and he does appear to be tired.
That's what he had for Morrison.
Just remember, Ray Mercer's only fought past 5 rounds.
And it's really showing right now. Well, Holmes really doing all the work here, and I mean, Mercer really trying to force the fight, but Holmes scoring.
Larry Holmes 3 minutes away from perhaps a stunning upset.
Are you the champ?
You the champ. You got it.
What time is it, fellas? Home time. Let's go.
If you're tuning in and didn't know who was who, Jackie Callan just made a good point to us off mic. Who looks like the 42-year-old and who looks like the 30-year-old right now just by looking at them?
Well, the 30-year-old looks like a 40-year-old because he's taking the brunt of the punishment tonight. And here's the last round. Holmes has outlanded Mercer in the last 2 rounds, 50-22.
Holmes does the wiggle again here in the 12th. Ducking the punch. Still has the reflexes.
The song keeps coming to mind. He's in the money. He's in the money. Because Holmes is going to make some money now. It's a big win for him.
The question of the night was Larry Holmes' head knew what he could do. Could his body follow? And so far, into the 12th round, the answer is a resounding yes.
Well, let's just see if the judges see it our way here. And I really feel that Holmes is in control here.
Mercer trying to land in the corner. Mercer's supporters trying to get him going. And he hits Holmes, and Holmes counters with a right to the body.
Hand could have done a lot of damage as well as that hook could have.
1 minute from a decision. Holmes should be content to hold on.
Well, you never want to take anything for granted. You want to finish up. You got a minute left here. Finish up strong, but be smart.
Holmes yelling with a war chant. And Holmes comes on. And there goes Mercer with 30 seconds to go. Fighting to the finish. Will Larry Holmes' remarkable career continue after tonight? And from our estimation, the answer will be yes.
It's a double yes, Len.
The crowd on its feet.
Well, what a great
distance.
performance tonight. Well, Mercer looked at Holmes. Great fight, he said.
Hey, man, do it, Larry.
Well, I think we're ready for a decision as the fighters embrace one more time. Michael Buffer has it.
Scorecards. Phil Newman scores the bout 117 to 112. Eugene Grant scores the bout 117 to 111. John Potteray has it 115 to 113 for the winner by unanimous decision from Easton, Pennsylvania, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes.
He's done it. And we concur. Good call. And Holmes looks almost overcome by the moment. And a look at Ray Mercer, who's just suffered the first defeat of his career. He goes to 18-1. What a story written in Atlantic City tonight.